to me, like a place to live is the place to live, and that's pretty much it. But I don't feel homesick, and especially because half my friends do come here to visit more often than not, so it's never like a big issue. I think you know, I miss them. I miss out on like some like, you know, American only like food stuff like that every once in a while. Like I can't find buffalo wings, or I can't find like Chick-fil-A sauce or something, or oh, I can't get Baja Blast, or you know, just like the small things that I think are like typically American. But you know, for me, it's a very big people thing. You miss the people over the place, yeah. You know, because a lot of the time they're friends that I've known for like, dude, like a lot of these people I've known for maybe like 6-7 years at that point, like almost 8. Like these are people who I've spent like a majority of my life with, and I think it's still tough to kind of walk away from that. I think it's always been difficult to kind of adjust in the way that I don't have the same level of access to hang out with people as I did before, you know? Because usually it's like typically, you know, we would go on like weekly hangouts, or we'll watch like shows together like every like Wednesday, Tuesday or something, or Wednesday, Thursday. Usually some more often than not we'll have, you know, we'll just be like, oh, do people want to go to this? And then people will pipe up and we just go to dinner or something. Or oh, we'll go to, you know, we'll just do stuff together. And I think it was so easy because obviously all of us could drive, all of us could make the time for it. Oh, I can do, you know, that's the tough part. But at the same time, you know, I think for myself, again, I still see things now as like an opportunity that I think I would never have again. And I feel like at some point in time, I'll still probably be able to see my friends at any point in time. You know, I think a lot of the relationships that I've had, or like personal friendships I've had, a lot of them are like people who I see myself staying in touch with for a long, long time, no matter what, because they've really like seen me through different arcs of my life. They're people who I owe a lot to, and I think it's important to not to say that I feel indebted, or that the relationship should like revolve around being indebted to another person, but you know, I really do feel a deep appreciation for those who have like supported me through my life, and really brought me up through adulthood as well. And you know, those are the people who I see myself always being able to come back to, and I'd want to be able to help out in the future as well. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. That's nice though, knowing that you can still count on them even when you're across the globe. I wouldn't say count on them like, or it's like super rely necessarily, because it's obviously like I can't just call them up to take me to the hospital type shit. But I know for a fact that it's like these are people who I know are also living their own lives, and I'm glad that I'm able to kind of still be a part of theirs, just the same way that they're a part of mine. Yeah. So I'm not super homesick. I don't super like miss America for America, but I will always miss the people who I hang out with, and the people who I've spent a lot of my life with, you know. So that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel. I really want to start building a community, but God, it's hard to be the first to reach out. I think you reach out in ways that like you start small. You start small, whether that be like telling the people who you work with that you appreciate their company, or you know, telling the people who, you know, even service workers or anyone that you interact with to have a good day and that you appreciate it. Or you just start doing things that are of like overlapping interests. Like if you start a little club, if you start like host an event, and it's like, oh yeah, guys, we really like Valorant. I think more people should play Valorant. Let's play Valorant together. You know. So sorry if you might ever talk about this, but is Japan your dream, or is it just because of work? I would say, that's the tough one, because I mean, it was never on my radar as like a goal to like live here. You know, I've always, if anything, it was more of like a big bucket list thing for me, where I'm like, it would be so cool to be able to do it. And for me, now that I am here, it is mostly like a, well, now that I'm here, I kind of want to see where this takes me life-wise. You know, where does it take my career? Where does it take my social circles? Where does it take me as a person? And I think that's the other thing, right? Like, it is very much so like, what does me, how will I grow as the person being here? So it's less about, oh, I strive to live in Japan since forever, but it's more so of like I've had the chance. I have the chance now. I am here. Therefore, now I need to figure out what I want to do with it now, right? I'm just not. I won't say that I'm like settled down, if that makes sense. I think I'm always looking forward. So I just want to see where I want to, what I want to do with it. You still travel outside of Japan, right? I think I want to, but I mean, I just I don't know. Travel isn't like a big thing for me. It's a nice thing to have, but it's not like a need. It's not like something that I like really, really want to do necessarily. If I was someone, if like, say for example, I was invited on a trip and then we planned it out and I could afford it, then sure. But you know, I think personally, I just, I don't know. Travel is a luxury. Vacations are a luxury, and that's just not something that I can super, you know, I don't afford myself that usually. Try to do whatever I can as to not leave anything left on the table, if that makes sense. Right? What a long-winded way of saying you're a homebody all along. Well, I mean, it's more like if I can't afford it, I can't afford it. I'm very much so like, if it's not a necessity and I don't really need to travel, you know, I'm not super jazzed about it, but it is what it is. But if I get invited to do it and it is like it is possible, then sure, I'll do it. Being down for anything but being too broke for most things. Sad. Yep. That's kind of how it is. But I mean, I think it's important that people still try to, you know, I think it's a nice thing to still kind of plan for and try to work towards. I think that's something that I think is really cool. It's still the experience that I think is really valuable. I think it's important to travel outside at least like once, you know, get the vibe for it, get the feeling of what travel is like to you and kind of determine whether or not it is for you. Because I mean, some people can never travel their entire life and then suddenly travel once and they'll be like, oh my God, this was awesome. Or it's not, you know, it is up to the individual experience more than anything. And I think there's nothing wrong with wanting what you want as an individual. Want to do many things but too broke for them? I mean, good to have ambitions though. Good to have things that you want to work towards. And if there's something that you can save up for, you know, you save up for, you reach that point and you can, and then you do it. So that was me after Impulse Phoenix. Didn't care for traveling, and now it's something I plan and work for. Exactly, right? Like you try it, you discover how much you whether or not it was for you, and if it's for you, then you go all in. You work hard for it. Even domestic travel still counts as traveling. Yeah. I mean, for me, like I've always, you know, I traveled a lot through like mostly the East Coast because I'm usually traveling for work, but you know, it's always a nice thing. It's a nice getaway from things. And I know for me, I have to predicate travel with work, you know, but it is something that helps clear the mind. It gives me purpose. And I think that's what helps me kind of not cope, but like kind of it settles it in my brain. It feels intentional, therefore, you know, it makes sense. I think travel is something to work towards. But also, I think if you would regret not traveling in the future, then I think it's something important to kind of think about in the sense of maybe it is something that you should be working hard towards to try to do. I think there's a lot of points in time where you don't want to do things, or you don't want to miss out on things that you might regret missing out on. And sure, it might be FOMO, but I think there comes a point in time where it's important to not say no. And, you know, there's the balance between like, oh, don't overburden yourself. You should learn to say no, especially with things that shouldn't be your responsibility. But at the same time, when it comes to opportunities to kind of expand your worldview, to grow yourself as a person, and to more than anything, explore avenues for which you yourself can grow as an individual, those are things you shouldn't be saying no to. Those are things that you should always be trying to reach for, trying to see if you have the opportunity to do so, and the things that you should be working towards more than anything. The yearn for community but wanting to be alone. I mean, I get that too. I if anything, I very socially, like, I love the feeling of people around me, but at the same time, I still enjoy my space as an individual, right? Like, I still want to do stuff on my own. But there's nothing wrong with that. And I think everyone is their own individual in a way. And I think a lot of the time, I guess the other thing being is, you can only take my words with a grain of salt. I think everyone should only take my words with a grain of salt. I'm by no means going to be the one to dictate how you choose to handle your life and decisions that you make. You're responsible for that. And I think that's the other thing to think about is, own the decisions that you make, own the life that you live, own you. You are the one who ultimately is in the driver's seat. And it's incredibly important that you kind of sit with that feeling. How are we getting this TED Talk for free and pre-valid? Damn, I don't fucking know.